Here's a look at our sour cherries. These are a bush type sour cherry. We have 6 different plants, different rates of growth. This would be the first year. We're kind of expecting any fruit off of this bush here and this bush here. And unlike your traditional cherries, sour cherries, these aren't dwarf trees. These are actually a bush cherry. So we have a couple different varieties. This one's Carmine Jewel. We believe this one's Juliet. The stick we had marked broke off at the top, and who knows what happened to the actual label. And this one is Romeo. Romeo has a fair amount of growth. It got browsed quite a bit its first year. We had some woodchucks getting in under the fencing that we put up, so we had to put a double layer of fencing, which is this fencing right here. Outside of this, we have an 8-foot fence to keep the deer out. We've been able to keep them relatively weed free. We are using chips, and as you can see, we're also using some planter's paper. Some crabgrass does make its way try to make its way onto the chips, but so far anyways, the chips and the planter's paper are doing a great job. So this will be the 3rd season for 4 of the bushes. We planted 2 more last year, and we've kept them chipped each year, and each year we put down a new layer of chips, but before we put the chips down, we do put a new layer of the planter's paper, and that's worked really well here. One thing to keep in mind, even when you put the chips and the planter's paper down, you can see on the other side of the fence here, the crabgrass and the quackgrass will try to make its way into the chips, so you got to be on a constant lookout for that. We might try some of Avenger this year. Avenger is an organic herbicide, so spray that on the other side of the fence to try to keep those weeds from coming in. This is another weed that makes its way in. I don't know what the official name of it is. Some people call it Creeping Charlie. It's a small ground cover. It has purple flowers. You really have to dig it out by the roots. You can see it's just starting to grow right now. It's a perennial, so it's tough to get rid of, and it spreads by ribosomes through the ground. But you can see, even with the chips, weeds will still try to make their way in, but it is a good strategy to use, and I really like using it with the planter's paper. Of course, you could use cardboard if you can get enough of it, and if it's not covered in plastic. Here's another one. Interesting weeds here are actually raspberries, because right next to our little cherry patch, we have some summer raspberries. We've put in Prelude. That's this variety right here. They've done well. Crabgrass does get into it right under the plants, and we're going to try to take care of that this year as well. So here's a look at the Prelude. And this variety, which has quite a bit more of the crabgrass, is Boyne, another summer variety. Here are the ones that were established, and these were suckers that I transplanted last year. Next to them, I have some Primocane Blackberries. These are Primark Freedom. So Primocane means that the year's growth will actually produce fruit, whereas most blackberries, you get the cane 1 year, and then you have to wait the next year for it to flower. So this was last year's growth and what produced berries last year. They're nice flavored blackberry, large. And in a couple weeks here, I will prune these down to ground level, take away the canes, and burn them. And here is some more of the Primark Freedom. These ones I had put on black plastic when I planted them 3 years ago. I've left the black plastic there, which keeps the weeds out. And the idea was, I have some drip tape under there, was to irrigate them as we went. And I haven't irrigated them. Believe it or not, they get enough moisture down through the black plastic, through the holes that I planted them through, and through the sides, and they still produce a great crop. So I've been really happy with the black plastic there. These ones I put in what I call a medium tunnel. I use T-posts, drive those in as the vertical supports of a tunnel, and then I have a high hoops bender from Johnny's, or sorry, low hoops right here. So you take 10-foot conduit and you put it through and it bends it, and you got a hoop. So then once I have the hoop bent, I attach it to the T-post with just a pipe clamp. Then I put some hip boards and some along the bottom, and I have a tunnel. This tunnel could be used to extend the season. These produce late in the fall for us, and they will keep producing right to a frost. But the idea was actually to use it as a support for bird netting. So here's a look at the blackberries, and then beyond them are the raspberries, and then the cherries. Next door to these are the blueberries. The blueberries just have a 4-foot fence. The deer have been in there. They don't seem to like the bushes themselves. 1 year we had a doe in there that would eat quite a few berries. Not any that we would actually notice compared to the birds. So we don't worry about an 8-foot fence. But in here for the blackberries, for the raspberries, and for the cherries, we have an 8-foot fence around, so the deer don't come in. So here's an update. Today's the 1st of March. We're getting pretty close to spring, and this is where things currently are. So we'll keep you updated as the season goes on how all these small fruits make out. Thanks for watching.